guys to make sure we're communicating clearly. And I mean, it's like a 5-minute flash presentation, so it's going to be the bare description of that. But otherwise, yeah, looking forward to the comms call and getting up to date on other things we need to be communicating on the regular. And I pass it to Danny.
Yeah. There's been a few different topics coming up in a few places that I'll want to touch on, but right now, mostly my distraction is that I'm here for a week vacation with my family. There being that it's a working vacation and I'm still putting in a few hours, trying to answer everybody, focusing on matching whoever is asking for something with somebody who can answer them, and also directing that we have these conversations here on our transparency stream. Yeah, just happy to touch in with you guys and hear what we want to do about some of these donation opportunities and consider them very carefully with the pros and the cons. And I'll pass it to Griff.
I'm distracted by the fact that I have to leave in about half an hour to work on a few other things, but I am excited to talk about the Libra stuff. Sure, I definitely want to see Jeff's presentation, and I want to at least broach the topic of donating to Meta Cartel DAO. And I'll pass it to Lorelei.
Thanks. Good morning. I just woke up and yeah, I'm just intending to check in on the couple issues that I have active here. If Kai pops in, I wanted to check in with him about business cards. But if not, I'm just here to update and listen. And I'll give it back to you, Chris.
Cool. You both still sound a little bit sleepy, but I guess it's early there. What time is it there?
9.
Okay. Yeah, that's early.
Not so bad.
Okay. Okay, so let's start with the things then I guess that Griff definitely also needs to hear. So that presentation, Jeff, you just want to just show the slides. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, let me see if I can share this. So, I mean, it's a 5-minute flash presentation. So the ETH organizers seems to be a community of people who organize meetups, organize events, so it's kind of like it's a group of people from a bunch of different projects, everyone who pulls together these kind of events, and they're starting to do these flash presentations on interesting projects that have come up. So, I mean, I don't actually know how the Common Stack got on that list. I guess some people were asking about it, and James Zaki offered to take the presentation, and I said I would sit down with him and go through it with him, and then we figured, why don't I just come to the call and give the presentation rather than me giving it to him and him giving it to everyone else. So I mean, it's 5 minutes, so I was thinking we talk about how we are basically working to develop a tech stack for the commons, for scalable community collaboration. And our ultimate goal is to forward the discipline of token engineering, because I think that'll really speak to this audience. I was going to go over our basic 4 components, the augmented bonding curve, the Giveth donation app, the conviction voting, and the commons dashboard. And then I, obviously would say this is a very basic explanation. We have been doing much more work in rigorously tying these components together through the simulation and modeling software of CAD. So we have much more in-depth system diagrams. I will not be going into the explanation of how this all ties together, just to show them that a lot more work has been done than just these components. And then going over quickly the goals of the Common Stack, which is primarily, open sourcing and developing CAD, creating a sustainable financial incentive for the development of token engineering, and creating a shared component library of these modules that can be used by any projects And again, this was just thrown together in 10 minutes this morning, so I'm going to tweak the wording on this a little bit. But I think that's probably all I'll get through in the 5 minutes we have. Any thoughts on that, or things that should be added in, or things that should be taken out?
I mean, I definitely think that we should put in the goals of the comments text something about realigning the incentives for nonprofits or something along those lines, or building continuous, like, because it's like, yeah, it's just sustainable funding for incentives of token engineering and eventually everything, you know?
Yep.
Do you think we should stick with like the community causes, or do you think we should, I feel like the word nonprofit brings up some certain like connotations that people may expect, or I'm curious on wording for that. Or do you think we should say nonprofit causes?
Whatever you think is best, man. Community causes or something, but it's like, you know, it's realignment of incentives is what I feel like that's the real magic, right?
Community causes, especially next to token engineering, sounds kind of vague. I mean, it sounds like, oh, maybe it's just about the token engineering community. But I don't know. I think like social good or social benefit projects, if you want to stay away from the word nonprofit, like instead of community causes. I don't know.
I mean,
like social good projects is another. Yeah, it's an alternative to nonprofit.
It's like what sets us apart from continuous organizations, you know? And for me, it's that focus on projects that don't have an economic model.
Gotcha. Access. Okay, I'll wordsmith this a bit.
Yep.
Cool. But I think that'll be the 5 minutes. I don't think this is anything huge, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just wanted to make sure we covered our bases with that, and that's a good thing to add in, so I will do that.
Oh, and make sure to give them the form.
The form. Okay. Still the same form, yeah?
Yep. I can send you the link that for sure works.
Well, you can just also send them to commonstack.org, and the link is at the top.
That's true.
It's probably an easier URL.
That's actually, yeah, call to action. I need that. Cool.
And yeah, I just wanted to say, Jeff, for the first slide, maybe you had that in your short description. Maybe I think you have in your details that it's like for token engineering, and you added the other thing that is also community causes. But like the ultimate goal you said was token engineering. Yeah, on the first slide, and it's probably it's probably more over there. It's probably a little bit more the community causes and not just the token engineering.
That's right.
I have to quickly open the door. I forgot that someone is coming by to pick something up. I'll be back in like 5 or something. So please talk about the stuff I don't need to hear. I don't know. I'll watch the stream afterwards. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I think ultimate goal. Go ahead, Chris. I think ultimate goal is definitely like our long-term goal. You know, make this easy to deploy for ending any cause, like helping rivers or stopping global warming, this kind of stuff, like that's the real goal. Token engineering is the best path to get there, and it's the short-term first achievable goal,
Yeah, token engineering is the mate.
Yeah.
Toward.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to look at the audience that we're presenting this to as well, where a lot of these people will probably see and understand the token engineering more so than, I mean, maybe not more so, but at least it's more immediately applicable to audience that we're speaking to, that we are trying to forward token engineering. I mean, ultimately, you know, Moloch DAO, Metacartel, all of these other, you know, kind of shelling point DAOs to fund this ecosystem. I mean, we're really in the same category as these guys, but we are focusing on token engineering, and we're focusing on simulation, testing, validation, and that's what separates us from all of those guys. So I'm thinking in this audience mind, when they say, okay, well, what's the difference between the Common Stack and Moloch DAO or anything else? I would say it's the token engineering focus, simulation, and all that kind of stuff that really sets us apart from these other projects that are trying to do the same thing.
100%. And I think that's a great analogy. I really like throwing in the Metacartel DAO, Moloch DAO. And that's our focus for the next 2 or 3 years, for the foreseeable future. I mean, come on. So like, it's just not. It was just the word ultimate. That's it.
It was the word what?
Yes.
Sorry.
Ultimate. Like our ultimate goal.
Did I say that somewhere?
I'm happy.
Yeah, at the
Oh.
very beginning. Just in words. You said it with your voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Okay, I'm happy I didn't really miss anything, and we're still on this one. What I'll do, by the way, is just I'll create, for now, Jeff, you can put like in your call to action, go to the commonsstack.org website and sign up. But I'll create an issue actually that the form, we talked about that before, that the form, when you actually type commonsstack.org/join, for example, like with Giveth, that it redirects you to the form. It's even easier.
Cool.
I'll write that down now so that I do not forget it. Okay, maybe. Yeah, go ahead then.
I have some place to plug in that regenerative part of this as a continuous funding side. Does that not make sense? Like the community collaboration, I feel like regenerative in there is something we want to be emphasizing.
Yep, for sure. Narrative.
Okay, thanks.
Cool.
Okay, talking Common Stack now that we're on it. I haven't read all the messages yet on Telegram in that channel. But I think the conviction voting article, what's the status for that one?
I have not received any feedback, so I imagine, or actually, I think I saw Griff drop a couple comments in there. Otherwise, it's just waiting on me to finish this presentation and finish these other docs, and then put it in Medium, and then edit everything one final time, and then we're good to go.
Cool. And those visuals that Lorelei was helping to create, they're for that article, right, or not?
Oh yeah, one of them is. Good point. So I guess we're waiting on that.
Okay, and for that, all the feedback was passed along, right?
All of the feedback for what? Sorry.
For that, the getting the visuals done.
Yeah, I believe Lorelei is passing that on to Amy.
I did.
So yeah, the sooner the better, right? Because we're you're pretty. Then we keep like the momentum going with. Then we have some content to put out also on Twitter, and well, Thursday is better than Friday, just like impact wise. Just so you know, if you're close to finishing it, and it's just the final touches, tomorrow would be a good day.
Yeah, I am just crushing through this list. I don't know when that is going to be at the top.
Okay. What else? Okay, so also thinking of the time that Griff still has. Maybe then let's do Metacartel first, Griff.
Okay. Basically, I want to make sure that I'm part of the Metacartel DAO. They said that I can put in just 10 Ether, so that's cool. And my experience with Moloch has been like you can really sway. You can only, I mean, we could potentially receive funding from Metacartel for, doing UX on Giveth and stuff like that. So I do see a strong opportunity here for the future, and I'm going to put in no matter what. So now the question is, do I put in under my name or under Giveth, which Peter was hoping that I would use Giveth. So, or I asked him which he preferred, and he said Giveth. So I just want to know if it's contentious with the comms department, then or if you guys think I should make a Lumio. I'm halfway through the Lumio right now. Or if you think that because I'm going to put the money in anyway. So it's really just whether or not I use the Giveth brand or not. So just curious about feedback.
Yeah, personally, what I said, yeah, I would go for the Lumio just in the sense that we keep it. I think the vote will probably be yes if you give some arguments why we need to be in there. I don't know a lot about Metacartel, so if you want to do it, then it's good to have. And we use the name Giveth, then I guess it's good to get people's opinion on it. And then it can pass or not. And if it doesn't pass, you can do it in your own name. That would be my personal thought.
Yeah, I agree that I really knows on any decisions like this that we make, and in full support of anything that encourages collaboration within the system where we can support one another as our collective entity, I guess.
Any other thoughts, people? No? Okay. Griff is making the Lumio, which is halfway through. Yay! Perfect. Then, okay, so donation opportunities, and this is one that, so the first one was Inferno Cash. So they asked us, so it's really easy. I'll copy the link here on the side as well, but it's simply inferno.cash. And so in the meantime, I see there, so they asked us on Twitter the question like, hey, do you guys accept ERC20 tokens, I think. And so I replied, but I deleted my reply because I wanted to first also get your opinion on this. But so it seems very much, again, like a sort of financial pyramid kind of scheme where they give a percentage to a good cause. But I see now on their website that they're not abusing the good cause in the way that the others did. So I don't know if it's a fork from a previous one or not, but now they said, like, I see in the text somewhere it says like, yeah, it's most of the good causes don't accept tokens, so we're just gonna like see what we ad hoc what we give it to, but they're not like using that like saying we're the good cause pyramid scheme. It's just a side note. So, but still, like, what do we do with this one? Do I still reply or do we ignore it?
I have this feeling that it's important to support these organizations. If there are folks who haven't done it well before and they're making efforts to acknowledging that and supporting that is important. So obviously, we'd like to be taking donations from anybody who wants to give them to us. And if we say no at some point and give them good reasons and they're adapting to that, then that's a good thing. That in the ecosystem.
And so that's the thing. I can. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I just, is there a place where they're violating? Are they being deceptive? Is there any harm being caused? That's my question.
I don't think they're being deceptive. When I look at their site, they're pretty open at how it works. But they are just a pyramid scheme. So the question is, so it's like people who are getting later will make less money, and the people, yeah, it's just like one person makes money because another person loses money. So is that something that we want to support and have our name on or not?
Well, so for me, there's like 3 directions, right? So we can support and have our name on it and say, hey guys, play this and support Giveth, right? Active support. And then there's like 3 ways of supporting. Then there's passive support where we just say yes, right? And then and reply, yeah, go ahead, add us. And then there's inactive support where we just don't even reply, and we receive donations and we, don't really care. And honestly, if we really don't like this project or whatever, then we can do the best thing to do would be to take their token and sell it the second we get it. So, but I for one, I'm not opposed to doing this. I would even be open to passive support of saying, yeah, sure, you can donate to Giveth. But maybe the best PC way to do it is just like, anyone can send money to any address, so it's nothing. We can't really stop them anyway.
No, but the thing that we discussed during the ethics of the DApp, etc., was like if we know that it is something that kind of bumps with our values, and we know that it's not just like an anonymous address sending us tokens, but we know who it is, then we are aware. So in that case, we can decide to send it back because we don't want to support them.
I guess the challenge is, if someone was doing a casino, like a poker game, and they said, hey, the rake goes to Giveth, would we accept that or not?
I'm in favor. I'm not opposed to game of chance type scenarios where everything is up.
Yeah, so I'm not against that as well when there's like transparent communication and they're not like abusing our name and like making their entire like, so to say, about being a charity token, which the previous one did. So I think this one seems more legit in that way. But the thing is that I'm not, so it would be good if someone, maybe I can ask like Bowen, because you don't have to spend time on this, Griff, but like ask Bowen, like if he can, that's why I posted it in the unicorns, like look at the explanation and look if it is indeed completely transparent. And then I can reply that sure, they can send us tokens, but I don't have the technical knowledge to know how it works exactly, and especially not when I look at the smart contracts or anything. I don't know.
Chris, is this the one where the character named
Nope.
Blackscale commented in
Nope.
the general, or is that's a different one?
That's the second one. Okay, so for this one, if there is no
Okay, great.
further comment, I'll just send a message because I think Bowen has time anyway. So I'll ask if he can check it out, and then I can just like reply to that person that we're okay to that we do accept tokens, and just like leave it at that and see what happens. Okay, then the other one, yeah. So he was in he commented in general, but he also sent me a long direct message, and for that one, yeah. Hang on, so maybe it's easiest if I just share my screen. Where is he? Black scale. Because I don't, okay, yeah. So I'll share my screen 1 second. So he asked me to not share widely, but I could share with the team, which I'm doing right now. So Griff, that's maybe one for you to read to like see what does this mean, and like it's about tokens being sent back, and when they are sent back, then they're sent to us.
Where am I reading this?
It's in general.
In Riot. No, but in Riot, you see the direct. In Riot, in this Call, you see, if you look at my screen, you see the direct message you sent to me.
Oh, it's really small.
Oh,
Can you copy paste it and put it in unicorns?
yeah,
You-
sure.
It's in those little dots.
True. I'll forward it to unicorns. So, yeah, so
Sorry.
bless you.
On me.
That's part one. And I'll just copy the rest of his questions.
Oh yeah, this is right. Yeah, I think it's fine. Basically, he's saying, hey, what happens if someone sends tokens to a contract that's decentralized? You know, like, I don't want those tokens to just go to waste. I want those tokens to be used because, you know, this is like an escape hatch, basically.
Yeah.
And so he wants to put
Interesting.
our donation address as the escape hatch.
Yeah, I'm interested in his question of being, Chris, is that question from you or from him about the refund?
They're all from him.
Okay, because aren't we kind of uniquely qualified to provide a refund if somebody wants one because they reject
Absolutely.
it? I mean, I
Absolutely.
feel like we're in a unique position to be great for this.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Mhm. So I can tell him like we can refund. This is like not what again if it's not committed to a specific milestone, right?
Yeah, well, but it
Yeah.
would just go to our multi-sig address. It wouldn't go anywhere else. So we would refund, and maybe we'd do it like, you know, we'd wait for a few months to give someone a date. But yes, what we'd end up doing is we'd give someone a date, like, you know, on June 1st we'll process any refunds, and on December 1st we'll process any refunds, or something like that, you know.
So that's something that he can propose to
I
us,
need-
like, hey, if I implement this, then we don't use it for that amount of time, right?
Well, I mean, I don't think we need to give them any of those details, but I think we can just say, yes, use our multi-sig address, and we would process refunds.
Okay.
But obviously, we wouldn't process refunds like, oh, here's your money back
Constantly.
in this
Yeah.
day. You know, we would take our time and do it so that we can aggregate as many people that have this issue as possible.
Makes sense.
But I'll tell you, 90% of people that send tokens to this address, they won't know that there's a refund. They'll think they just screwed up, and we'll end up getting the tokens.
Yeah.
There might be the one guy that ends up sending like a fuck ton, and then we should definitely solicit a donation from him, but refund him all the money, you know?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Nope, perfect.
Yeah.
Then I can answer that one as well. Okay. Were there some
Yeah, the
other...
last point.
Yeah.
The last point on there is that he's doing an article. So
Mm-hmm.
what, we'll just share some information and let him know we want to be able.
What information do you still want to share?
Well, they're going to do an artist giving them the green light. That means they'll probably be speaking to the fact that they're donating to Giveth anything that, the spare change, given your change. So that's something
Yeah.
you may want to retweet as well, because we'll be mentioned in it. So
For sure. So I will actually just ask him if we can maybe like depending on how big, how much of the message we'll be focusing on Giveth, that we're always very willing to reread whatever he will post, so that our name is not abused if we don't know him or her. Okay.
right.
Cool. So I can answer that one. Yeah. So Michael had
Griff,
something
I don't
he
know.
was going to put. Yeah. Go ahead, Penny.
I just want to say before, I know Griff, you might have to leave soon, and I've been hoping to get a response from you and Kristen about the scoring done for Reward DAO this week,
Oh,
please.
my bad. So I went to the woods and now I forgot about that. So in Doodle or
That's okay. Yeah, there's a doodle, but I think
also
I
missed
only
it.
did today or tomorrow. Yeah, Reward DAO leads. If you can
Yeah.
just
well,
check
if
in
you
there.
I could do it in an hour.
Same.
Okay. Bowen will probably be around by then too, so I'll hit him up and an hour
Okay.
being top of the hour, so an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
Or at the half hour.
No, yeah. So right now I'm distracted because I'm trying to fix the XDI node with somebody. So, but I'll be listening when Lorelai's still in the meeting.
Okay, cool.
And then after that, once that's fixed, I'm free.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry to hijack.
No. It's an important one. Now that we have Griff, let's use and abuse him as much as possible.
Yes, please.
So what else do I still need to apply for the DEF CON scholarship grants for people who haven't seen that. It's like, I think the best order to do it is scholarship, and if that doesn't work, there's a builders program, and if that doesn't work, there's volunteers. But if we all apply for scholarship, with the scholarship, your flights are also covered. So if you want to go to Osaka, it's a good thing to apply for DEF CON through the scholarship. So I will try to do that today after this call. UNICEF grant video. Lorelai, you probably have the update after your call on that one.
I do. So I am going to Tijuana from the 9th to the 12th. And I'll be helping them make sure this video happens during that time. It's still a little bit hard communication with them. I understand why Michael was struggling with it. I have to there's a lot of people to chase, and I think that they're busy people, but we're working on it. We're hoping to have them set for a finished product there. So I don't think there's anything much else to update. I mean, I could just share that we're not going to do too much more filming itself. Sounds like there's a lot of raw footage. We'll probably just do filming either me or Griff from afar speaking the Giveth part, and then giving them that to edit, and then maybe one more interview with the director of the hospital, Castro Limon, and down in Tijuana. And there is a filmographer already, just waiting on his schedule, and I think it'll be a lot of editing. It'll be more about editing than filming. And regarding the script, I need to hear back from them a little more this week as to like what elements of the script they want to change, and with you, Chris, I hope that they would work with you beforehand, but I'm not sure they will. And so in that case, like, I would just hope that you'd be kind of available for consult during the days that I'm there.
Sure.
For me.
Does it make sense for me to look at that script beforehand, or is it better to just wait for whatever feedback they have first?
I think wait on them. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've seen it already, right? It's the scripts that Michael and Griff wrote.
Well, I have it in a direct message, but I haven't like really read through it. I don't know how long it is, but
it's not very long. No, it's super short.
Then I have a quick read through. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the update.
Cool. Thanks. No, yeah, so definitely available. And then, so Bowen didn't make it yet, no, right? So the thing, yeah, two things that I still have on my mind. I got the Lumio out on like from last week Unicorn EAC meeting. So if you guys have thoughts on it, I hope you saw it. For me, yeah. So why am I mentioning this? Yeah, just inviting people to give feedback. The thing is, I had a second Lumio that I still wanted to put out, but I first wanted to like get the feelers out. It's just a small one, but I was thinking for like the Giveth Twitter account. I was thinking it would be nice now that we have about 4,000 followers. It's a nice moment to like celebrate a little bit, and I don't know, it's a milestone kind of thing. I was thinking of placing the background by one of our group pictures. So not like keeping the Giveth logo, but showing the team, because the argument in my head is just like we are all about like uniting communities around causes. So then to me it feels nice to show our community, and again it helps to like show like create legitimacy around like who's building this. But I just wanted to quickly check if you guys are like, no, I would definitely not do this, or hell yes, let's please do this.
I'll give my feedback because I think it's awesome from the perspective of our milestones, our work being done by our people, and as we are engaging in soliciting funding for various initiatives, those funds go to, so I would really love to see faces to the donations and contributions.
Plus, Giveth is more of a community than a product, so it really is all about us.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'll create that Lumio. I'll see if it doesn't make it this week, it's fine in the sense then we have some Lumios every week again, so that's fine. It's not an urgent one. And right now we just have like Giveth in letters, which makes it very impersonal. And I think as long as we don't have any new like, I don't know, house style that is more personal and that's gonna come at some point, I think that could work. Cool. Okay, so I'll create that one. The other one is I was going to do a brainstorm at some point with Bowen on like how can we reactivate social coding. I'm gonna send him some direct message feedback. So like one of the things is like he announced it 10 minutes before it started yesterday, and then he said he was all alone in the meeting. So I think that might be one of the things, like announcing it in time and like promoting it a little bit more. But I was also thinking, like, you know, when we look at the goals of social coding, providing resources for education and support for developers, focusing on blockchain for good, boosting the Ethereum blockchain ecosystem, I just had the idea, I just wanted to see what you guys thought of this, is like, for example, right now this Libra discussion, is this a good thing or for the blockchain ecosystem, and should we embrace it and build bridges, or should it be maybe something that we should get to know really well and get all the information, and then I don't know, react in some way as a community. The thing about that, I was just thinking, like last night, to me, like having a meeting where people discuss this, and that we, for example, start by saying like, hey, this is Libra, and this is some of the things, some of the objective facts. I've read their paper, their blue paper, white paper, whatever it is, and these are some of the facts. And then we do a sort of like online fishbowl kind of thing. I think it's something that would like make this entire discussion more accessible and would draw people into our community. And I think that could be an angle to, like, you know, educate people for social coding. But that's just one topic, and I wanted to see like what did you guys think of that?
I have a couple, because you've just touched on several different things that I have 3 different notes on. And like from the social coding side of things, you know, I started that little experiment to help people start coding. And I had a lot of people who were like, yeah, I want to learn coding. And then over the course of the month following that, everybody had challenges with so many different aspects of it. Everything from having access to a computer to the sites that Wojtek recommended kept kicking people out, and they were having trouble finishing the courses. So from the perspective of, there is 2 different things. There's coders, there's programmers who are already out there. They're looking to get matched with things and up their skills. There's all of us who are, and then there's that entry barrier of people who are the folks that we want to be reaching, who are looking for pathways to sustainability and regenerativity, and programming offers that. And there's courses out there like the Lambda School, that if you can dedicate 6 months whole course, you don't have to pay anything at all, and you don't pay until you get 1,000. So like, I'm finding better programs out there to offer to people. I'm working with Indigenous folks back at the reservations that I worked with at Standing Rock, and there's this who's doing it at the other reservation too. I would really love to see that be a social coding project that's providing good resources and providing the support that these folks need to overcome the hurdles that are in front of them. So that's the
Makes
first
sense.
piece that I'd really, you know, I would like to be engaged in that conversation. I'm talking to people all the time right now who are like, how do I follow the road you just took? How do I get to be working from wherever I am and be able to feed my children? So that's the first piece. Second thing is that Libra part. It's really hearkening me back to a lot of the radical exchange conversations that we had. And there was a fellow who presented there, Tristan Harris, who I've talked with a bit at the conference. He does humane technology, you know, and I just think about all of the players that are involved in Libra, and Eva's post naming all of us in the Ethereum ecosystem who are working on it. How are we bridging that with that humane technology aspect? When I look at Libra, I see that people aren't reaping any benefits. It's just like a point where you give somebody your money, they get to use your money and benefit off of it in the fiat world, and you paid for. So there's this whole pool of funds that are going into the system, and it's being benefited by somebody else. How do we scoop up some of put those back into our ecosystem and let the people who are doing social impact do what they're doing? I don't know if that was an off-topic ramble, but that I think it's a really relevant conversation. I met with the folks in Barcelona who are going to continue Rad Exchange Barcelona this morning, and they were asking who should be at that table. And this is in the blockchain world right now for people who are starting to learn about it. So I think it's a conversation that Giveth can continue to be involved in from that perspective, I guess.
So, and is it to you something that could have a place in social coding?
I do. I think that's where it should live. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think like Bowen also reads all of these things and like researches a lot, and so I think he would be very open to do this. And so I've written it down the way you said it, like the part one, the hackers and cheese, and part two is like conversation starters around like topics that can that that are interesting to people to get into this world. I think both of those things are elements that social coding could help with, and that will help us grow our community and possibly connect all the other dots. Find developers, find funding, and like grow our community, which we want to have.
Yeah, and the find funding part, like asterisk, because that there are scholarships for, there are grants for, there's resources available to help people get in. And that's what I'm looking at, is what are activities, each of our circles, that we can promote and request donations to Giveth to support those specific initiatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for that, social coding needs to reinvent itself a little bit, but Bowen is aware of that as well. So I think like having something like this being a real thing and a recurring thing might help to indeed get some funding for this as well. Okay, well, I'll see if I can have set up a meeting at some point with Bowen, and I'll definitely invite you, Danny, and whoever else wants to join is welcome to, of course, to just have a little bit of a lunar solar kind of discussion of like how can we now transform the goals update that we have for social coding into some reality. Cool. Thanks for that input. It's super valuable and it makes sense. Okay. What else do we have on there? Oh, Jeff, yeah, just because I still see it, because last time you were in here, I still have in the new column, I have this notebook is always on sale article. I don't know what the status is of that one. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Your mute button is not on, but we do not hear you or see audio when you speak, or at least when.
Hang on, it changed for a second and you clicked it too quickly, I think, because now you're muted again. Hit it again. No.
Oh, now I see that you're trying to talk and you're gone.
Hello?
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That is on hold for the time being. I think we just realized it's going to be a slower rollout for that and a lot of focus on launching the common stack for the time being. So that is still in the works. It sounds like that's going to turn into probably 3 or 4 articles, but more conversation needed with Zargam on that, and it's not a priority while the launch of the common stack and the conviction voting article and a couple other articles are in the hopper before that.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Sorry, I'm adding the conviction voting article in the meantime because I see it wasn't in there. It was Jeff. Sorry, it's the last time I asked. It was Jeff without the dash or with the dash on GitHub?
With the dash.
Cool. Yes. Any other topics that people feel we need to discuss in this call? Okay.
I think that's good on my end.
Cool.
It looks like
Danny?
I've checked off every single thing we brought up at the very beginning that we wanted to talk about. We got it all in.
Same.
Libra is the future of currency. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
What did you say, Griff? Sorry, I missed it.
Libra is the future of global commerce.
Hooray!
Corpo
All hail
currencies.
Libra.
Corpo currencies, so much fun.
Yes, corpo currency for the win.
Yeah, well, it's for sure.
Ah.
Like I agree with Abby's point there. It's like it's 2 billion people, so it's too big to ignore. But yeah.
Dude, Coinbase sucks too, but we all use it. So let's, it's not. We gotta be realistic and idealistic. We can be both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too. But I cannot bring it under words. So it was like even like hesitating to delete my tweet that I replied to you, but I saw then that you already replied and whatever. It's internet. It's out there for always. But I cannot bring it under words, but I like retweeted like 2 or 3 threads that like go into details, way more about all of this than I personally do. And then when I read that they are gonna help the unbanked for sure. And so I do think that it's gonna be a huge success, but it's not a distributing of wealth system and in its essence, and it's not what their goal is. So I think they're gonna be hugely popular, but I think it can just swipe away everything that we've been working on. That's the thing that kind of worries me.
I mean, I'm definitely worried about a brain drain to some extent, but I'm also excited about a brain train. Like all these people that work for these companies and they learn how to do blockchain tech and they wrap their minds around it. I really believe decentralization will win out. And so then all these people will be like, oh, well, this would all be great if there wasn't Facebook in the middle, And then they'll just start working on actual good projects. And Facebook will fund them to start, their training. So I don't know. I guess I'm always optimistic when it comes to these things.
Yeah, that is indeed like the bright timeline, not the dark timeline. So I hope also that will happen. I really hope so.
Yeah, that dividing line of identity, those who are fine with having their identity wrapped and those who want to seek and maintain sovereignty as individuals will become very clear who's on which side. And I love that brain train concept. We go in, get your training from people who will pay you, and then come over here and apply it to do good in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's hope so.
I did it.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Sweet.
guys, then let's continue that discussion on Twitter and shit. and we're just in time, so it's 7 p.m. here. So quick checkout. Thank you guys for, as always, another productive meeting. Just wanted to call out especially Jeff for joining us. It would be great if you can do it every week because it's a cool way to just like get some stuff done together. Yeah, thanks for the productive meeting and happy to hear you guys.
Did you pass it to somebody? It broke up.
Oh, sorry. I gave it to Danny. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, this was awesome. I feel like I still have other things to talk about, but I think I'm going to do a Lumio about continuing the radical exchange and how Giveth will be involved with that, directly relating to the gather.protea and our Giveth gatherings group. And I'll talk to some of you here very soon about scoring reward DAO and getting that month turned over. And Loie, when you get a chance, take a peek at my message on Riot, and I pass it to you.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're all like in our corners doing our thing. It's nice to see just the gears turning on all this and Giveth getting out into the world and having lots of followers. And yeah, thanks for the meeting. I'm gonna stay on, Jeff. I hope I'll catch you for a minute or two after the meeting closes out. I'll pass it to you to check out.
Cool. Yep. Happy to join in on these. Sorry, my schedule. I think I was flying last week, and I may be on the road next week. Although I'm, depending on timing, I may be able to join for the call on the road. But yes, I find the comms meeting is really important to catch up and make sure that we are communicating on all fronts and making more the common stack communication a bigger part of that goal as well. Cool, good meeting. And yeah, I have a 1 hour before the presentation, so I'll stick around for a few minutes, chat with you, Loie, and then I'm going to finish up this presentation and then on to the next one.
Nice. Griff, did you want to check out?
Yeah. Thank you guys. XDI node is updated successfully. I'm glad I didn't have to actually leave the call and we could do it via chat.
Cool.
So that worked out well. And I'm down to just watch the Reward DAO chat room, Reward DAO lead chat room, and see when we can get going. I'm free whenever.
Okay, line right now, so I'm going to ask him maybe 15 minutes. Thanks.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See you in 15.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks for the call.
Cute.
We're going to stop the live.